over the years, we've definitely seen plenty of controversies around PlayStation, and it seems like another may be on its way because they are reportedly planning on selling games in parts for $50 each, meaning the overall prices of games would go up to roughly $100. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, this infuriates me so much. Before we get into that, though, Sony's subsidiary Insomniac Games was recently hit by a massive data breach, after which the hackers threatened to release untold amounts of data unless they got a ransom paid. Now, of course, that did not happen, and we did actually get all of these leaks. Most notably, spreading across the internet right now is for the Wolverine game, but it says chief among the leaks is an internal presentation that reveals not only is Sony planning on increasing game prices again from $70 to $80 to $100, they're also planning to release the next Spider-Man game in 3 parts for $50 each. This is so infuriating because, okay, listen, there are some games out there that are worth the $70, right? Games like Elden Ring, I 100% would pay $70 over and over and over for something like Elden Ring. Fantastic experience, 30, 40, 50 hours worth of content. But when you're charging $70 for a basically movie game, okay, it is not worth the price. And there are so many titles that release. Like, look at Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Recently came out. It was a $70 title. In no way, shape, or form did it deserve to be $70, but it also is already on sale only 2 weeks after release. And we're not talking like it's down to $5 already, but even if it's only $10 or $15 off, games go on sale extremely quickly, and the content that is in them does not warrant a $70 price tag. Never mind taking a full-length experience, okay, that could be put into one game for $70 and then splitting it into 2 or 3 parts and then expecting the overall price that someone is paying for a full experience to go up that much, because they are saying that there is going to be 3 different parts for Spider-Man 3. $50 each part, meaning you're not getting, 25 hours each part. You're probably going to be getting like 8 hours each part. So 24-hour experience for $150. That just sounds absurd. And you also have games that decide to nickel and dime players by making you pay $70 for a base game, like Callisto Protocol, but then they don't actually have the ending, and then they expect you to spend $25 to actually access the DLC for the ending. None of these practices are okay, and if Sony actually goes ahead with this, they are going to lose sales. I personally create a lot of content online. I live stream games multiple times a week, and this is part of my job, right? But if we get to the point where we are spending $150 for a video game experience, and we're talking the base standard edition, not a special edition, I know that I will personally stop supporting a lot of games, because Spider-Man 2 did not deserve a $70 price tag. Never mind if you want me to pay $150 for the same experience, and I think a lot of you are going to agree with this. There is absolutely no possible way that the average person is going to look at this and go, you know what, this is fine. All right, there is just absolutely no shot of that happening. And of course, this is not happening right now, right? Sony has not come out and completely confirmed that, their next title is going to be this way. But there's an internal memo saying that they have been discussing this, a full presentation that multiple people put together, multiple people saw, and I bet that yes, they would do this because of course Sony is extremely greedy. Companies want as much money as they can possibly get for the least amount of content, but if they do this, they are going to push people away. It says even with AAA games raising their prices across the board to $70, Sony is planning to release Spider-Man in 3 parts, while the leaks total around 1.76 terabytes of confidential data and mostly only relate to Insomniac's own titles. It gives insight into Sony's potential plans for all of PlayStation moving forward. Yeah, because they already know that Spider-Man is a massive name. The other 3 games, Spider-Man 1, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2 have all sold pretty well, so they figure, you know what, people are going to shell out money in order to finish the experience, which I don't think is going to happen. I mean, Spider-Man 2 already had faced quite a bit of backlash due to, you know, how prominent the message was in the game. Some story elements did not go the way that people expected. It really seemed like they were kind of sidelining Peter Parker quite a bit. These are things that people didn't like, but just looking at all of the backlash on social media that is now surrounding this, it looks like they're in for a tough time if they actually go ahead with it. People are saying things like, what a steal, 5 hours each part. Yeah, because again, we're not talking like 20 hours each part. We're talking like 5 to 10 at the very max. And that's also probably including side missions, so the main story isn't even going to be that long. People are also saying, I will keep pirating Sony games all of my life. Yeah, decisions like this are pushing people to piracy. I recently had to talk about hundreds of products being ripped away from people's PlayStation/Sony libraries when it came to Discovery shows, and people were saying, you know, this definitely would push me towards piracy. This has been happening more and more frequently, where we see situations like this that are extremely controversial that, yes, are pushing people to alternate means to consume content. You cannot expect people to pay $150 for an average length experience when most of them now are not even worth $70. I'm glad I sold my PlayStation 5. I think the PlayStation 5 is a really good console. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I use it all the time, but again, I am creating content with it. But there's just no way that you can expect people to pay $500 on top of $150 per, you know, full experience. Yay, it's like I'm playing a mini-series, but pay preview. Awesome, I'm so looking forward to that because I blindly support being bullshitted. This is sick. It's so sarcastic, but so true. There are bound to be some people who are going to try to defend this, and that's terrible. You should not be pushed around like this, and you should not want to support a company just because you've had this brand loyalty for years and years. I've loved PlayStation in the past. I don't really anymore because of a lot of things like censorship, things like this where they try to nickel and dime players, but there is just no way that this could be defended. And of course, if Sony decides to start doing this, every company is going to try to start doing this, which is the major issue here as well. When one company starts to do something, others follow, like loot boxes. Look at how EA started to push loot boxes, and now of course it's just an industry norm. Every company has some kind of cosmetic microtransactions or things like loot boxes in their games, and even people fought against those. Now, luckily, we did, you know, stop the NFT push in the gaming industry, at least for now, because of how much we fought back against it. But things like this would definitely push other companies to try as well. And it wouldn't really surprise me if they do plan to, you know, reportedly start selling games in parts for $50 each, raising overall prices to $100, maybe even $150 each. Only time will tell when and if this is actually implemented, but they've at least talked about it behind the scenes. There's been presentations created. People have seen this, and it's definitely a lot of, you know, worrying news for the future. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.